Hello my friends, I am Marietta and I welcome you to Marietta's Art Channel. Today, watch me make a resin crystal ball paperweight and learn about the meanings behind the spheres at the same time. I love to create new pieces of art that pop into my head and grow in my imagination. I've marveled at glass crystal balls in the galleries my whole life and wondered how I could make such a stunning art piece from resin. I thought about this for a long time and made up the resin crystal ball you will witness today with a general idea in my head. I made it up as I went along. Enjoy the story of the crystal ball as you watch my creative process unfold. I appreciate you give me a thumbs up, comment below, and subscribe to my channel. It costs nothing and you will help my channel grow so I can spread the love of art to as many people as I can. Let's move on to creating the sphere. I've always been drawn to the shape of a sphere. I love its roundness and the smooth feel, as well as the way it enlarges objects within. Does it captivate you too? It creates a magnified, magical, and surreal world within its crystal clear clarity. This phenomenon can be described by using physics and mathematical equations, and yet, holding a sphere in one's hand creates a feeling of wonder and mystical and unexplainable force. It's hard to take your eye away from the way that the light dances through the sphere, playing with one's perception of reality. It is a fascinating phenomenon of play of light through a clear, curved surface which creates emotion and a sense of wonder and admiration. Perhaps this is why crystal balls have been used for fortune telling for centuries. Where did crystal balls come from? The crystal ball is a standard piece of equipment for any modern fortune teller. Gazing into the orb is supposed to give the soothsayer a vision of the future, which will then be shared with a client for a fee. Today, we connect crystal balls with fortune tellers, often of Roma or the gypsy culture. But that's not where these mystical spheres originated. To learn the origin of crystal balls and how they are often shrouded in mystery, and how all-powerful psychics, most often women, we have to go back to the ancient Druids and the practice called scrying. The history of crystal ball starts with the ancient Druids. Their origins are a bit of a mystery to this day. Who are these mysterious Druids? As early as the 3rd century BC, the Druids were an elite class of healers, spiritual leaders, storytellers, advisors, and teachers in the ancient Celtic cultures of the British Isles. The name Druid is a Celtic term meaning knowing the oak tree, which probably came about because the Druids were known to perform rituals in oak forest. They also believe that gazing into a reflected surface, such as a pool of water, a mirror, or a bottle of crystal, which is where the practice originated, could allow them to see into the future. What is the practice of scrying? The ancient Druids used a practice called scrying to predict future events. Scrying, which is a variant of word descry, meaning perceive, involves staring into a reflective surface in order to get glimpses of the future. The Druids were a big proponent of scrying and used it to help them make important decisions and to advise others. Scrying, however, was not exclusive to the Druids. Other cultures adopted the process and have used it for centuries. At first, droids used pools of water or shiny stones to do their scrying. But later, the crafted orbs of glass, gemstones, and crystal were used. Crystal balls versus Christianity. When the Romans took over the British Isles, the droids were all but eliminated, and so were their mystical practices. For the most part, soothsaying with crystal balls ran against the teachings of Christianity, and the practice was condemned. St. Augustine wrote in his City of God, a book from the 5th century, that using crystal balls was a way to become entangled in the deceptive rites of demons who masquerade under the names of angels. During the Renaissance, academics began to tap into the written knowledge of the Arab people, which helped to further their understanding of the natural world. One of the Arab writers viewed mysticism as true science and advocated it to be a legitimate branch of science. His writings portrayed scrying as a logical, scientific practice. European scholars began to take a second look at scrying, and the practice saw a resurgence in popularity, especially among the academic and elite classes. Enter the Gypsies. Between the 9th and 14th centuries, groups of Roma people immigrated from India to Europe, bringing with them a nomadic lifestyle and a belief in mysticism. This put the Roma people at odds with the Catholic Church, and they were ostracized. The Catholic Church was particularly upset about the rumor, or the gypsy as they became known, for their fondness of future-telling. Predicting the future of folks in need in desperate situations became a big source of income for these immigrants. Gypsies use crystal balls to predict the future of their customers for two reasons. One, the Europeans were already aware of crystal balls, so they bought into the mysticism surrounding them, and two, they were profitable, so a gypsy could set up a fortune-telling stand with ease. The image of a gypsy with a headscarf, hoop earrings, and crystal ball is a common trophy. Queen Elizabeth was the first monarch who relied on crystal balls readings from advisor John Dee, who was a mystic, mathematician, and alchemist. Dee peered into the future and provided the Queen with the best dates to plan important events and meetings. John Dee wasn't the only crystal ball user to lend his talents to aid his country. In the United States, in the 1940s, 50s, and 60s, Jeane Dixon used her crystal ball to make political predictions. She is most notably known for predicting the assassination of President John F. Kennedy. The crystal ball has become such a symbol of predicting the future that it is almost always included in television, movies, and literary references to fortune-telling. We see it in movies from The Wizard of Oz, Too Big, to Aladdin, and to Harry Potter series, and TV shows from Gilligan's Island to the Rugrats. There is even a smart, funny emoji of a crystal ball to this day. And even though its original proprietors are of a culture long dead, their story, their mystery, and their history of the crystal ball continues to this day. The sphere is an ancient universal symbol that represents unity, wholeness, and completeness. As simple as it appears, the sphere is the most mysterious and subtle of shapes. It is the essence of the divine feminine. Everything, and yes, everything, can be created from a sphere. How is that possible, you may wonder? When you connect two identical circles by their centers, you create a shape called Vesica Pisces. This is the room of sacred geometry, of geometry and trigonometry, enough light and life. The ancient Greeks referred to the sphere as the monad, from the Greek root meaning to be stable and oneness. Ancient philosophers referred to it as the first seed, the essence, the builder, the foundation, the space producer, and the immune truth, destiny. Sacred geometry is the universal language of creation. It is the nature of nature. What is sacred geometry? Sacred geometry describes symbolic and sacred meanings to certain geometric shapes and certain geometric proportions. It is associated with the belief that God is the geometer of the world. From honeycomb to the scales of a fish, to the neural networks of our brains, all of life is composed of intricate patterns. The geometric patterns found in nature provide an integral window into the interconnected fabric of creation. Sacred geometry unites science and spirituality, self and other right brain and left brain thinking. Sacred geometry is a process of aligning what's in the heart, the mind, and the spirit to the true source. It is the gateway between the metaphysical and physical realms. Working with sacred geometry is a mirror of the soul. It is fundamental to the evolution of consciousness as well as to the existence of life itself. All is secret, all is geometry. Crystal spheres are often used to increase self-awareness and a powerful mind. In summary, through history, crystal balls have been used for divination since at least medieval times. They are a traditional symbol of the occult and hidden wisdom and much more. Some of the uses include healing, cleansing, rituals, decoration with a purpose, a crystal ball gazing called scrying. The sphere as a shape is an ancient and universal symbol that represents unity, completeness, infinity, the whole universe. Crystal spheres are often used to increase self-awareness and a powerful mind, closely connected to the spiritual nature of our complete self or wholeness. Crystal spheres help to bring out integrity, clear thinking, self-awareness, and a better union of body, mind, and spirit. Whether used for a crystal ball gazing, or a cleansing, meditation, rituals, or as a decoration, crystal spheres radiate special energies that are created from the earth itself. Unlike the focused energy of a wand or egg-shaped crystal, a ball emits energy in all directions equally. These make a useful tool to perceive a complete picture or situation or self-evaluation, moving energy around through the entire environment. A sphere can be used during meditation. Some hold the sphere or just gaze upon it when meditating. Some believe that a crystal ball will cleanse the room of negativity when it is placed as a decoration. Whether you are a believer in the power of the crystal ball or are simply drawn to the story and history behind it, you must admit that it has been useful. You must admit that it has been useful for many as a source of mysticism and purpose. The history and the story is truly remarkable. Enjoy the rest of the video and the music without further verbal interruptions and watch my rendition of the crystal ball come to life. I have to say I really enjoyed making the multi-level sphere. I let my imagination go and I used the tape to mark the different designs that I made and the patterns, and I must admit it turned out super beautiful. I cannot wait to make more of these. I'm really looking forward to and excited about that and all the possibilities that it has to offer. This technique is pretty amazing. Oh my gosh, so many different variations. The sky's the limit. I placed the links for the materials, supplies, and equipment in the description below, as well as a link to my art website, mariettasart.com. I sell my art on my website, as well as many of the art pieces which I make on this YouTube channel. You can contact me by emailing me through my website or commenting down below. I appreciate you subscribe to my channel and hit the bell so you can get notified every time I post a new video. Comment on my content and let me know what you would like to see me make in the future. So for now, happy arting! Bardzo dziękuję. Thank you very much. Until the next time.